Hello, fellow leadership travelers. I'd like to speak to you today about motivation. I will draw upon the theories we learned while attending the LEAD program. For some of us, it's probably been a while since we've covered this material, so this review is probably pretty timely. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the next 13 minutes. So, let's start with this IPO system of need, motivation, and behavior, where need is the object to be satisfied, motivation is the process, and behavior is the output to attempt to satisfy the need. Now, the output could be a series of processes, but in total, they are executed actions. I would say that this process can be applied in various aspects of our lives, or the roles that we assume in our normal course of life. At a basic humanity level, I can input any of Maslow's hierarchical needs into this model, and where the difference between the satisfaction of the need and the output are concerned, I will see the motivational process either increase or decrease in a direct acting relationship. On the whole, individuals want to meet the basic psychological and self-fulfillment needs that Maslow enumerates. Personally, I achieve this by assuming various roles in my life, such as son, sibling, student, friend, colleague, scout, player, musician, worker, husband, father, manager, coach, pastor, preacher, auto mechanic, plumber, electrician, engineer, accountant, homemaker, laundry doer, and the list goes on. As I engage in those various roles, each role unto itself has its own subset of needs. Here I'd like to focus on some specific roles, or professions in the workplace and the marketplace, that we find ourselves in every day. In the marketplace, we can input customer satisfaction as the overall need, and behavior as the output of goods and services designed to meet the customer needs. The motivation process can then be the sum of all the tasks required by organizations to satisfy the customer needs. Let's lean into this. An organization that brings goods and services to the marketplace to satisfy customers' needs must organize all the tasks to be accomplished into specific job roles. Each job role then has a determinate set of needs to be satisfied. Organizations will then match these job roles with unique individuals qualified to meet the tasks of the job role. That's you and me. When an organization accomplishes this match, the organization then creates a position. It is now the responsibility of the individual who assumes that job role and fulfills the position to ensure that those business needs are met. This is where the individual and the organization collaborate in the need, motivation, behavior system for the customer. Let's apply here the first motivational theory we learned in LEAD, Hertzberg's two-factor theory. Hertzberg theorized that for the individual to be intrinsically motivated, two sets of factors must be addressed. The first set being hygiene factors, or how the individual and his relationship with the environment affects them. And the second being motivation factors, or factors that inspire individuals to perform or achieve. Hygiene factors include things such as company policies, supervision, relationships, work conditions, remuneration, salary, and security. These factors do not provide inspiration for the individual to exhibit behavior, but these factors are essential and must be addressed before an individual can begin to think about job task behavior. If hygiene factors are not addressed, they can contribute to an increase in an individual's dissatisfaction and can impact behavior negatively. Motivators include things such as achievement, recognition, the work itself, advancement and growth, or what is it that the individual can perform, contribute, and achieve in their work. These factors inspire individuals to perform and achieve. Without them, individuals are not demotivated, but they are not inspired, or what Kit Allowitz would say, they'll revert to the inspiration of novelty and excitement to satisfy other needs. Hertzberg would say that the hygiene factors and the motivation factors are equally important. Both need to be addressed. However, motivation factors need particular attention paid to them. Let's explore that. Both the organization and the individual have a common and important interest here. First, the organization needs to ensure that the job role is designed properly to meet certain job characteristics. This is the second theory of motivation we learned in LEAD, Hackman and Oldman's job characteristics model. Secondly, the individual is responsible to make sure their needs will be satisfied as they take on the job role. If either responsibility is not properly understood, then the motivation process is compromised and behavior will not satisfy needs for the customer, the organization, or the individual. Let's look at it from the job role itself. Hackman and Oldman's model focused on 5 key job characteristics. First, skill variety, or the degree to which a variety of skills are needed to accomplish the job. Second, task identity, the degree to which the job leads to the completion of something. Third, task significance, the degree to which the work has an impact on the lives around us. Fourth, autonomy, the degree to which an employee has the freedom of performance to complete the job. And lastly, feedback from the job or the work performed. These 5 characteristics of the job role contribute to 3 psychological states of the individual who fills the job position. The first is the sense of a meaningfulness of the work. Second is a sense of responsibility. And lastly, knowledge of the work performed. Of the 5 characteristics, skill variety, task identity, and task significance contribute to the individual's sense of the meaningfulness of the work. Autonomy contributes to the sense of responsibility, and feedback provides the individual immediate knowledge and a sense for the work performed. These core job characteristics and the psychological effects each contributes aligns directly to Hertzberg's motivation factors. Hackman and Oldman further suggested that much of the contribution to reduction of motivation in organizations was not on an individual's qualifications, but rather in part to poor job design and poor matching of jobs to employees. This matching is crucial for the organization to ensure an environment for inspiration to be nurtured. And the individual has an equal responsibility to the organization. First, to ensure that they do indeed have the skills and qualifications to ensure the job can be performed. And secondly, that the job characteristics provide sufficient inspiration for them to satisfy the needs of the job role. If the organization and/or the individual cannot understand, communicate, or do not operate on good faith based on the job role tasks, needs will never be satisfied. Now, a challenge to this model arises from what is termed job enrichment. Job enrichment occurs when an organization modifies or adds tasks to a job to bring about a perceived positive job change. Think empowerment here. In these scenarios, there are some individuals who will not see this as positive, and other individuals who may not be looking for higher degrees of the 5 core job characteristics. Hackman and Oldman identified this and applied 3 moderators to accommodate for individuals who may have these feelings. These moderators are desires to increase in any of the following 3 areas. 1. Employee growth, strength, and needs. 2. Knowledge and skill or capability. And lastly, context satisfactions. Here, think of Hertzberg's hygiene factors. The organization as well as the individual who are affected by job enrichment must negotiate these circumstances where business conditions facilitate the need to perform such actions and behave in good faith to accomplish the satisfaction to the needs of the affected. Motivation is an interesting word. The root, motivus, is Latin, meaning to be stirred or moved. I like the stirred reference. It indicates that something is purposely being disturbed to effect a change. There's nothing an organization can do to motivate individuals. Motivation is a intrinsic attribute where an individual is stirred to disrupt themselves to satisfy a need. However, there is a lot that an organization can do to inspire and/or uninspire individuals' desire to be stirred, such as designing job roles around tasks that take into consideration the critical psychological states of the employee based on the 5 core job characteristics. Also, understanding the moderators and how those moderators impact an individual's personal and work outcomes, and ensuring that hygiene factors are addressed. As well, the individual has equal responsibility to understand their needs as they relate to the 5 core job characteristics, understand the impact that the psychological states have on themselves and their personal and work outcomes, as well as, will this job satisfy their needs and desires to be intrinsically stirred and motivated to satisfy those needs? When these two parties work diligently to these ends, then motivation has an environment to perform, contribute, and exceed expectations. There's an old parable that goes something like this. A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow, but when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. For me, the soil in this parable represents my motivation to prepare myself to take advantages of the opportunities that life will present, with the seed representing those opportunities. When proper preparation of the soil is achieved, the seed will grow and produce great yields. If the soil is not properly prepared, then the seed, or in our context, opportunity, it dies. I feel that this is applicable to each one of us here at Anderson Hauser, because the only difference between the soil in the parable to our souls is an I and a you. We make the difference. Let's continue to work together to be relentless, to bring the inspiration to cultivate the environment that effectually stirs us to be motivated to meet the needs of our customers, the Anderson Hauser family, our departments, teams, and most importantly, ourselves.